Testing, testing. Can anybody hear me? Hello. Welcome, YouTube. We got big news for tomorrow. We got a Nintendo Direct. So, with that being said, there's a lot to talk about. And, oh, hello, Starlina? Starlina? I assume that's how you want it to be said. Hello, welcome. So, one of the great things about this channel, right? We talk about games that not every other channel talks about. And because of that, we get to talk about our little niches here. And we're going to be talking about the mainstream games too, of course, because those are definitely going to be shown off. I mean, that Direct's going to be like an hour long, which is pretty crazy. Also, let me know if you guys can hear me so far, because, you know, I'm not the best at streaming. This is why I don't stream often. Because I'm not great at it. But here we are. Got some coffee. Oh, the little Zelda logo. Well, it's backwards on the camera, but, you know, there you go. Stream title is devious. Well, you know, it's very much a possibility. Remember, there were rumors about... Well, we'll talk about this. But there were rumors about a Bayonetta 3... Well... 1 through 3, what is it called? Remastered edition? Or collection, something like that. What I want most is a Bayonetta 3 definitive edition. You know, I want full upscaling for Switch 2. I want new chapters. I want a new ending. I want the docked mode to be 1080p fully, or I'm sorry, undocked mode, handheld mode. I want it to be 1080p full stop. I want docked mode to be 4K, and I want graphics overhaul, all of the whole shebang, because that game needs and deserves it. Every time I look at it, I'm like, this is begging for better hardware. And obviously the Switch 2 fixed the performance, but I want to see, like, it's also begging for better visuals, you know? I want to see better visuals for it. And that would be just wonderful, just dandy. So it's funny that I'm here on this live stream with you guys, because I was spending some time before hopping on here, like, making a video. And I was making it, and my thoughts in my head as I was trying to find a way to make this video and make it entertaining and also, you know, stand out in ways, you know, from other creators, because everyone's going to be talking about the same things. I said, I can't. It's too much of the same. So let me just hop on a live stream. Let me get you guys on here with me to talk about this, and we can toss ideas around, and that would make it fun and engaging for everyone. Myself included, yourselves included, everybody. So, all right, let me catch up on the chat real quick, because Alpha L, welcome to the stream. You already mentioned the stream title is DVs. Yeah, well, maybe they can remake Bayonetta 3. That is my hope as well. Starlina said, I think it's too soon to theorize about Bayonetta, but appreciate your enthusiasm. No, I agree. Believe me, I agree. Full stop, wholeheartedly. I just, you know, we're a Delulu fan base at this point. I mean, when we got the leak that got proven to be true, which is there's going to be a bunch of games with 7 in the title in this Direct. And we know that it's going to be true because that person also predicted a huge Direct this week, and that came to pass. So because of that, I saw people actually commenting Bayonetta 7. And so when I tell you we're the most Delulu fan base in the world, I mean it. We are the most Delulu fan base in the world. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, so you said you could theorize something Animal Crossing or Splatoon related, and hope you'd ask me to remain analytical. Yes, so Animal Crossing. Let's talk about that real quick. Splatoon, I don't know, but Animal Crossing, I am yeah, I am just fully expecting something Animal Crossing in this Direct, whether it be a new game or a Switch 2 edition for New Horizons. I'm definitely expecting something Animal Crossing, because they've been very silent, and Animal Crossing New Horizons was the second best-selling game on the Switch 1. And we all know it was a cultural moment with the pandemic. So there has to be something Animal Crossing. Again, whether it's DLC or like an expansion for Switch 2, or it's a new game entirely. It's gonna be one of those for sure. Tony Kaname Kieran said Bayonetta is Nintendo. Yes, so that's more reason why I feel we're gonna see more Bayonetta, even with all of the stuff going against it right now. Even without Kamiya, the Bayonetta legacy will continue. Yep, agreed, Tony. I agree 100%. I know that we might not get his vision per se, although it's not like they don't have contact with him. They can all call him up on the phone and be like, so what were your plans again with the series? Or they could always contract him in. He doesn't have to be at Platinum Games to be a part of the process of making the game. Outsourcing exists, and technically, I mean, a lot of times, Platinum Games, when they hired their cinematics director for Bayonetta 1, for example, he technically made a lot of story decisions, because when he was making the cutscenes, he said, we should add dialogue in here, there, blah, blah, blah. And that was a contracted worker. He wasn't within Platinum Games. He was just a very well-known cinematics director for games. I think he came from like Metal Gear Solid, if I'm not mistaken. He came from something big that was very picturesque and, was high quality. And, we saw that in Bayonetta 1, and that's part of why Bayonetta 1 has the most dialogue out of all the Bayonetta games, is because that cinematics director actually added in a bunch of dialogue to fit the cutscenes he was creating. So, yes, even without Kamiya, we will still have Bayonetta. It will just be different. Different in what way? I don't know, because, he did have a big part in Bayonetta 3, and that was very different from 1 and 2. So, still have no idea where it's going to go. But, yeah. Splatoon 4K. Oh, if Nintendo actually titles something with 4K as like the fourth title in a series, I will be very surprised, because they do not get technical. They don't use like technical spec language in their stuff, except for, when they were using the gimmick of 3D. Yes, they used technical wording in that when they said, Majora's Mask 3D or Ocarina of Time 3D, but I don't see them using the word 4K in a title personally. Starlina said, no arguments here, and thank you for proving my point of remaining analytical with refrain from false hope. I'm the same way. I'm always analytical. Like I said, I'm Delulu because I'm a Bayonetta fan, and we're all Delulu, but also analytical. I mean, my whole thing, I feel like, is I'm analytical. Like, that's kind of like my presence on my channel in general. I think about things way too hard to a fault. And that's part of why my channel is the way it is. So Starlina said, I was speaking in terms of Splatoon Raiders. So I think, okay, Splatoon, I don't know much about Splatoon, so I can't speak too much on it. When was the last time we got a Splatoon? Can you comment when the last time we got Splatoon updates was? I want to say that was 2 years ago when we got Splatoon 3 updates. I think it was DLC, something like that. Hold on, I'm going to drink some coffee. I'm going to be off the walls by the end of this stream, because coffee, I'm already naturally very hyper, and coffee just makes me even more hyper. Oh, you know what? I need to twist this so that you guys can see the Zelda logo when I take a sip from it. So let me do that, because it looks mad boring from the other side. Yeah, there we go. Zelda. Speaking of Zelda. All right, Zelda on the Direct tomorrow. I don't think that we're going to be getting a main big Zelda release title. If we do, it's going to be a teaser with like just a title. But they don't usually do that, and they think they'll learn their lesson the hard way with Metroid Prime 4, not to just put a big title, and Bayonetta 3, honestly. Both of those just basically had titles on their release. Bayonetta 3 had a little bit more than that, but Metroid Prime 4 only had the title on its first reveal in 2017, and look where we are now, and it's still not out. So I think they learned their lesson with that. I don't think we would get any titles for new Zelda games per se, for example, because it is going to be a long time till the next big Zelda release is going to happen. So if we do see Zelda tomorrow, it's going to be a smaller game, and it's going to be something more in line with maybe, what was that one that we just, Echoes of Wisdom? Yeah, something more in line with that, or maybe some other spin-off, kind of like Crypt of the Necrodancers crossover. I forget what it was called. Or Hyrule Warriors. Oh, we're gonna see Hyrule Warriors because there's that new Hyrule Warriors game coming out. You know, that's what it's gonna be. I don't think there's gonna be another Zelda game beyond that. Personally, I think that's gonna be all there is for Zelda. But if we do see another Zelda, it's just gonna be like a small spin-off title for sure. Golden Sun 4. 4? Wait, there were 3 Golden Sun games? I thought there was just the one. Am I crazy? Also, hi, Golden Yoshi. I think that's Steven. I see the profile picture. I think I recognize, but I'm not sure. But Golden Yoshi, so it makes sense you would ask for Golden Sun, because I have a feeling that that's inspired. The name is inspired. Starlina said I was speaking in terms of Splatoon. Oh, I already read that. There was one recently, I believe, think around the anniversary of the Grand Splat Fest of past versus present versus future. See, I don't know when that was, though. Was that this year? Barbs said Bayonetta is probably on ice as of now, and honestly, I wouldn't want any news so soon. Okay, I was right that year, Steven. Okay, so about what Barbs said. On ice. Well, what do you mean by that? Because they already knew that they were going to go for a Bayonetta 4. They must have had, if they promised that to us to be continued in a new generation, they must have already had that contract signed and ready with Nintendo for another game. So we're definitely getting a Bayonetta 4 from somewhere. Probably, most likely from Platinum Games, unless they purposely outsource it and get that permission from Nintendo. But it seems like they definitely have that contracted already to be making Bayonetta 4. Or else they would not have literally promised us at the end of Bayonetta 3 saying to be continued in a new generation. And they weren't talking about Origins, because Origins was not a new generation. That was still on Switch 1. And matter of fact, it was a previous generation chronologically wise in the game's lore. So I don't think we're going to see Bayonetta 4 tomorrow, because that's got to be a long time in the making. And again, I think they learned their lesson. Don't just give a title screen or like a small teaser and then, you know, next thing you know, you're 5 years or more later and we haven't seen anything else. So, but I get where you're coming from. You know, there was a lot of news about, you know, Platinum Games and anyone involved with Bayonetta's development, really. Bad things constantly. And things I'm definitely not happy about. But I think that the game is already contracted to be made, at least Bayonetta 4. Now, what I really want is still that Bayonetta 3 Definitive Edition. I think that game deserves better. The only thing that I thought was bad about it was, you know, story elements, right? I loved all the gameplay stuff. And there were some polish issues here and there. Those might have been creative visions from the director, for all I know, or maybe it's just stuff that can get ironed out in just a Switch 2 edition where, you know, you're just dealing with better hardware. So who can say? I still really want that, though. I can't stress that enough. I want a definitive edition. Golden Yoshi said, Camelot devs of the Golden Sun have apparently been working on a title for Switch 2. Okay, so were there 3 Golden Sun games already? I thought there was only 1, because you said Golden Sun 4. And there's supposed to be a bunch of games with 7 in the title, and I know it's not no Golden Sun 7. So, as for the games that will have 7, I mean, obviously a given is Final Fantasy 7 Remake Retrograde. That's so obvious. People were thinking Phoenix Wright 7, or Ace Attorney 7, I should say. I would have loved that, but the leakers said that that's not in the lineup. And that's kind of disheartening for me, because I love the Ace Attorney series. I mean, if you guys watch my videos enough, you know I use a lot of Ace Attorney music in my videos. On top of the other, you know, like fan remixes and stuff that I use from like Pokemon, or unlicensed music from artists that I like that let us use the songs for our creative purposes in videos, mostly like Danger from Haven, the artist Danger, who made music for the game Haven. I use that a lot. I'm telling you, I'm going to be bouncing off the walls with all this coffee. Okay. So Alpha said it would be nice if they took more time to cook the narrative for Bayo 4. Yeah, I mean, They need to make it in line with what they did with Origins. Origins was so good. I loved that story. Starlina said, I don't blame you, Barbs. And given the turn of history and the fan base, the series could change mechanics, frustrating some players in the process. I loved Demon Slave. I don't care what anyone says. I thought it was so good and so cool. And those of us who like used it properly, which is, not relying solely on it, had so much fun doing creative combos. And if you look at montage videos of Bayonetta 3, like from my friends at NaroX or even other creators like Chrisora, I think his name is, and a few others, they do some amazing things in that game that you just can't do in 1 and 2, especially not 2, but 3 has so much creative freedom of what you can do with that combat. And it's like creating your own choreography every time you go into a fight in that game. It's so good. Senny said, hey, Johnny, I hope we get something for the Queen. I'm right there with you. Again, still looking for that Bayo 3 definitive. Don't think we'll see Bayonetta 4 for a little bit, but I do think the game is contracted. I'm just catching you up on that in case you missed that. I was talking about that earlier. I don't want to sound like a broken record. Starlina said, okay, I'll bite. What did this leaker cover? The leaker is the same person who predicted there is a direct coming out this week, and that it's a big, very big direct. And both of those things turned out to be true, right? We're getting a direct tomorrow, and it's an hour long. So it's going to be jam-packed with stuff. Now, what they said on top of that is there's a lot of titles with the number 7 in the title. Now, it could be like Fire Emblem 7 Houses. It doesn't have to be the 7th game in the series, right? And I was joking about this with my partner saying, Final Fantasy 7 Houses. But you know what? The more I say it, the more I think that could very well be a real sequel to Fire Emblem 3 Houses. It's Fire Emblem 7 Houses. Boy, imagine. But yeah. And then again, Ace Attorney 7 would technically be the next game in that series. But the leaker said that game is not in the lineup. There is no Ace Attorney 7, sadly. For me, that's a big bummer because, again, I love Ace Attorney. Again, I'm sounding like a broken record, though. Let me continue on with the comments. That was everything that the leaker covered pretty much, though, as far as I know. Unless I missed something, someone can comment it down below. Barb said, I wonder if they'll continue Bayonetta Origins as a franchise with new content, unless it's just the one game. Well, I think it was supposed to not just be the one game, right? There's a reason it was Bayonetta Origins, Cereza and the Lost Demon. However, because of the commercial failure, sadly, it's probably not going to pan out. I would say there's like a 75 to 80% chance that there won't be another Bayonetta spin-off title because of the really bad sales. And that's such a disappointment because that was like honestly one of the highest rated Bayonetta games. They're all rated high, but fans loved Bayonetta Origins so much. And even some non-fans. I saw some playthroughs of people who like refused to play the trilogy, but only played Bayonetta Origins because it's more like Zelda, right? It's a Metroidvania. It's like Zelda, and it's has the art style of Okami. But sadly, I don't think it's going to happen. I wish so bad that they would continue that on top of making main Bayonetta games. I want the whole franchise to be a whole household name. I want it to be a big franchise, but they just keep messing up. I really think they should have released Origins before Bayonetta 3. We would have palated Bayonetta 3 much better because Origins leads up to it with its narrative. And more people would have bought Origins because we were so thirsty for something Bayonetta that we would have gotten our hands on any little thing we could until Bayonetta 3 came out. And that game would have been perfect for that. Platinum Games, you got to get me on your... you got to get me on something. Get me on your story team. Get me on your marketing team. Something. Because, my God, the decisions you guys make, you really just, like, dig your own graves because you're so good at everything you do. So good at everything you do, but then you're so bad at those things. You're so bad at story, and you're so bad at marketing. those are the biggest places Platinum Games needs to invest their money. Anyways. K Bajo said, how tall are you, Johnny? I'm 5'7". You want to know how tall I am? Okay, interesting. I'm 5'10". So I always think that I'm like not tall. And then I say I'm 5'10" and people tell me that that's tall. Maybe it's because I live in New York City and everyone here is 6 foot tall or taller. But I feel like I'm like average height. But then I'm told I'm not. I'm told that average is like 5'7", 5'8". 5'9". I'm taller because I'm 5'10". Either way, let's continue. The comments. Did you see the Mega Malamar reveal? Yeah, I did. And my biggest reaction was, is he, you know, is Malamar, you know, that sums up my reaction in a nutshell. Oh my God, nobody clip that, please. I don't know if you can even clip on YouTube. Anyways, Sunny Marina said, this may be a dumb question, but will you react to the direct? I'm thinking about it. I definitely, yeah, I think I will, because it's so long. There's got to be something I enjoy there, right? So there's got to be some fun thing to react to together. Yeah, I think I'll stream it. I just have to look at the time that it's going to come on. I actually don't know what time it's going to be here on the East Coast. So I'll look at that and I'll try to make sure that I'm ready to stream tomorrow for the big day. And then hopefully don't burn myself out on energy and have the energy to make videos on whatever needs to be made, because I know that they're going to show something Pokemon Legends, ZA. I already know it. And they're going to, for sure. And there's going to be something else that I like too. So, all right. Senny said, I thought Demon Slave was fun. I just miss having weapons on my hands and feet. ¿Por qué no los dos? Right? Oh my God. I don't speak Spanish. I probably botched that, but why not both? I think that the next game, Bayonetta 4, could mix the two together and maybe even add another mechanic or two, because, you know, Nintendo loves adding new mechanics, and so does Platinum. Smash Ultimate Switch 2 Edition. That's kind of what I want for Smash Bros, honestly. I don't want an entirely new game. I just want a Switch 2 edition of Ultimate, because I love Ultimate so much. Maybe more balance patches, because they really made my girl Bayo viable towards the end. She was one of the worst in the game, and now she's honestly like, I wouldn't say one of the best, but she's solo viable. She's like A tier now. And I'm a big fan of that. It was like most of the stuff that I had asked for that I wanted out of her balancing in the game, and they mostly did it. Ruby retracted their message. Ruby, what did you type? Oh my goodness. Oh, I see you retyped something. 5'10" is below average in my country. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. I'm in New York City, and 5'10" is definitely not, it might be average here, but it's not above average, that's for sure. Because there are so many people, like a lot of my friends, if not most of my friends, are 6 foot tall or taller. I even have some friends that are like 5 or 6'8", 6'9". It's crazy. Starlina said the story in Origins was all right, but everything else was a bother to me. To each their own. If you're who I think you are, I think we've talked about this on Twitter. You might not be who I think you are, but if you are, then we've definitely talked about this on Twitter. And to that, I just say, you know, to each their own. But I loved everything about Origins. I loved the gameplay. I loved the story. I loved the art style. I loved the polish of the game. Amazing game. Like, when I say what my favorite Bayonetta game is, I can easily place 2 at the bottom, but like 1, 3, and Origins are so close to each other. And I love them all for different reasons. I would say that Origins and 1 are the most well-balanced out of those. So objectively, one of those two I would say is the best Bayonetta game. And then Bayonetta 3, just because the story stuff, you know, gets lower. But subjectively, Bayonetta 3 is probably my favorite because the gameplay is so good. Even though I hate the story, I love the gameplay that much. It is so good. And even with the bad graphics, you know, it still looks so flashy and cool. Like it holds itself up on substance alone. And that is insane to me. It's like the graphics are technically not as good as even Bayonetta 1, but they still look cool because the animations and the flair that everything gets is just so good. Starlina said, would have preferred a prequel with what happened before the clock tower's destruction, leading to what Jean was doing between the sealing of Cereza to her being Baldur's agent. You know, I'm actually very surprised that the first Bayonetta spinoff was not a Jean-centered game. I honestly thought it would be. I'm surprised they still chose to focus on Cereza herself. But I'm not mad about it because, again, I love the game we got. But I do think if we get another spinoff, it almost has to feature Jean. I want it to be kind of like, I don't want it to be exactly like Persona because I don't want it to be turn-based, but I want it to be like half life sim, half action game, where Jean is a teacher, and that's the life sim part, and then there's the action where she's QDJ at night. I would love that. That would be the perfect Bayonetta spin-off game. So, okay, let me continue on. Senny said, funny enough, Origins was the one I never played. Highly, highly recommend. You should absolutely play it if you like The Legend of Zelda, or if you like Metroidvanias, or if you liked Okami, or if you just love Bayonetta that much. Any one of those reasons is a reason to play it. Otherwise, I don't know if I could recommend it to someone. Benefit Boy said, 5'10", huh, not bad. I'm 6'2". Wait, I thought you said you're 5'7". Wait, who said? Oh, someone else said they're 5'7". Okay, I see. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, see, most of the people I know are like 6 foot and older. So, but I don't think I know you personally. So I don't think you live in New York City. Don't remind me, I still haven't been practicing Smash. Oh, I still play Smash pretty often. I go to like a gamer night weekly, and then I play Smash Online still quite a little bit, not nearly as much as I used to. And I still have over like, in general, you know, for my total playtime, over like 5,000 hours in that game. Like, it's an insane amount of hours. On my copy alone, it's over 4,000, and I know that I've played almost just as much on other people. So it might be closer to like 6,000 or 7,000 at this point. I don't even know. It's a lot of hours. I can tell you that much. All right. Wing DDD said, yeah, I'm glad they rebalanced Bayo to be solo viable. I don't use her seriously, but it's nice to see her make waves in the scene. Now, if only they could give DDD that treatment. Yeah. So DDD is one of those characters that started in like low tier and stayed in low tier. I don't think he's that bad. I don't think he's solo viable, but I don't think he's as bad as like maybe some tier lists might put him. But that's also because the balancing in Ultimate is, once you get below a certain level, it's all really close, and once you get above a certain level, it's all really close. You know, and then there's like S tier where, yes, they're far removed, you know, like Kazuya's far removed, he's way better. Steve is far removed, he's way better. Maybe Sonic, Snake, Pyramithra, and a few others. Starlina said, Okami is a game I could talk about as well. Soundtrack, gameplay, story, and mechanics made Okami a favorite for me. Oh, hold on. This is not inappropriate because, you know, you guys have all seen men's chests before, I'm sure. But I have an Okami tattoo on my chest because I love Okami that much. I'm a huge fan of Okami. I played it on 4 different systems. I played it on the Wii originally. Then I played it on PS3. Then I played it on PS4. Then I played it on Switch. So yeah, four times. The Switch version's the best one because, I mean, like, being able to just draw on the touchscreen doesn't get much better than that. But I'm very excited for Okami 2. It is the biggest silver lining to Kamiya leaving Platinum Games because he is, you know, directing Okami 2 now that he has his own studio again. So, silver lining. I just want both franchises to continue forward successfully. Benefit Boy said, "Hello, Johnny. I played you 2 weeks ago. Played me in what? Where? I don't know who you are." Oh, I don't know who you are based on your online tag. Let me put it that way. Okay, Al said, "Hey, I missed the start. What do you all think they'll show tomorrow?" Oh, well, I'm glad you're here. Um, okay, so let me go through a list of what I think we're gonna see. Let's go through the for sure's. Final Fantasy VII Retrograde, for sure. Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity, for sure. Pokemon Legends EA, for sure. Kirby, something, if it's Air Riders or something else too, for sure. Let's see. Animal Crossing, I won't say for sure, but like 90 something percent likely we get something Animal Crossing. Either a Switch 2 edition of New Horizons with more stuff or a new game in general announced. Um, New Fire Emblem, 100%. 100%. We know they've been making a new Fire Emblem game, and it doesn't take them that long to make them. That's for sure. And I know there's been no leak or rumor surrounding that one in particular, but I guess I can't technically because of that say 100%. So I will say 99.999% sure there will be a Fire Emblem game announced. Kenny said Kevin. Oh, that's who you are. See, I don't know your gamer tags. My bad. Okay, well, hello. Okay. Al said, honestly, sounds about right. Yeah, about the stuff that, yeah, I agree. Marina said a new Pokemon spinoff. Ooh. No, I don't think they're going to announce one. I would love that. Or, a return of a fan favorite, like I've been replaying Mystery Dungeon 2 because I just got these. Ooh, maybe I can show you guys this. Okay, hold on 1 second. Okay, that was like 5 seconds. Okay, that was more than 5 seconds, but still. I have been replaying so many like DS and 3DS Pokemon games, and I just got these used from people here on Facebook Market and eBay. I'm in love with this. This is a new 3DS, and it's the M-worded, and because of that, I have access to like everything. And so I've been replaying Mystery Dungeon 2, and it just reconfirmed how much I love Mystery Dungeon 2. It is so good. I just got to the part where well, that would be a spoiler. I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't played, but I got to like the first big plot twist. So I'm in like that other realm. You guys know what I'm talking about if you've played it. And I'm finally playing for the first time, finishing up Alpha Sapphire because I had never beaten it. I got really bored with it. The 3DS Pokemon mainline games were the weakest to me, with Sun and Moon probably being my favorite out of the ones that were offered at that time. I know that people hate on that one the most, though, actually, funny enough, but I think X and Y was my least favorite Pokemon game. And then I got a DSi as well off of eBay. And you can't tell because everything's kind of washed out with this lighting right now, especially since this is white. But it is such good condition. Like, whoever took care of this did such a great job. And my only issue is that there's these scratches on the top screen. When you're playing, you don't see them quite as much, but you still see them a little bit. And it is kind of distracting. But everything else about this is such good quality. And I honestly might be able to get this screen replaced. So I've been replaying Heart Gold and Soul Silver on this one. And I'm probably going to get this one M-worded as well. And replay a bunch of DS games on this too, because they do look better on the DSi than they looked on the 3DS, because the DSi has a more vibrant screen and it has the perfect pixel count. Anyways, just me nerding out for a second. I'm sorry for anyone who did not enjoy that. I was just really excited about my retro gaming journey right now, because I have not had a retro gaming journey ever. I've mostly just stuck to modern hardware as it came, And now I'm just in this weird mind frame where I just want to play all these retro, specifically Pokemon games mostly, but I also want to play, like, I want to replay Majora's Mask 3D with Project Restoration enabled. And I want to replay some other stuff now that I have this new 3DS that like face tracks with the 3D, and I like the 3D gimmick. So I want to experience everything perfectly, as perfect as it could be. And I'm honestly playing it more than my Switch 2 right now. I'll be real, I kind of regret getting the Switch 2. Not only was it so expensive and broke my wallet and my bank account, like I had to take out a savings to get it. But also because the screen, I play mostly handheld, the screen's not as good as the OLED model was for Switch 1. And honestly, I'm about to transfer all my data for certain Pokemon games back to my Switch 1 because they look better on it. Like Sword and Shield and Legends Arceus look way better on Switch 1. But obviously Scarlet Violet looks better on Switch 2 because of the upgrades. So, there is that. I got it because I was so curious about Scarlet and Violet and Bayonetta 3 running on Switch 2. And that was literally the only reason. Well, that wasn't the only reason. I also wanted to play the new games and Switch 2 editions that were coming out. But I kind of regret it. I really do. I do. Hopefully I won't regret it for long. Hopefully like the library will just flesh itself out. But yeah, let me catch up on after my long tangent that I just went on, let me catch back up on the comments. Benefit Boy said, "You're fine. I never tell people my tags." Okay, I'm glad you forgive me. Al said, "Fire Emblem, true. The team behind Three Houses should be about to release something again." See? Fire Emblem 7 Houses. I'm calling it. Fire Emblem 7 Houses. He said, "I'm hoping to get more info on the wow, I can't talk. The coffee's hitting." "I'm hoping to get more info on the new Layton game. There's a new..." Oh, okay. Is that 7? Is that the 7th in the series? Because that could be one of the games that the leaker was talking about is the 7th games in the series, or has the number 7 in the title, whatever it was. If not Ace Attorney, then Layton would make sense. Because Ace Attorney would technically also be 7. Or it's another crossover between the two, and it's 7 for both. Uh-huh. Okay. Wing DDD said, "Whoa, that's a pretty 3DS." Oh, isn't it? Isn't it? It's so cool. It's pink and white, and like the innards are white, and it looks so nice to play. I usually get black systems, and for some reason now I'm in this craze where like something about the brighter colors is really making me enjoy the gaming experience more. I feel like that kind of started with my OLED model for Switch. I really loved the white and black aesthetic that it had, rather than just like the all black or all gray aesthetic that I had before that and now have with the Switch 2, which is part of why I'm also just like not as drawn to my Switch 2 right now. And this is actually, I used to have this exact DSi. So I got this mostly because I wanted that again. I remember loving it when I had my own, but I left it back where I'm from, so I didn't have access to it. So I got this new one. All right, anyways. That went way off topic again. Oh my gosh, here I go again on my rant. We were talking about something else. Oh, well, I guess we were just talking about the new games. Sunny said, "Yes, I need to go another round of Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. I've been playing a fun mod due to all the new Pokemon that was added, like a Zora, which looks adorable in the Mystery Dungeon art style." A Zora? Like from Zelda? What? Wing DDD said, I've always been Gen 6's strongest soldier." Oh. Uh-oh, we're opposites. No, X2Y2 was my biggest disappointment, but I'm glad we got to get more for Kalos. So, funny story. I don't think you knew me back when I was guessing this and before ZA was announced. Everyone was like, Unova remakes, Johto remakes. I came on the spot, and I have the receipts on social media, in YouTube videos. I was like, I don't think we're doing Gen 5 or Gen 2. I think we're going to skip to Gen 6. Because that's the least represented Pokemon game in all of mainline Pokemon. And we kind of just got representation from Johto and Unova in Scarlet and Violet's DLC. So that was my reasoning. I was like, I'm calling it now and let this be on the record. The next game is going to be Pokemon Z. or a Pokemon Legends or Let's Go game taking place in Kalos. And I was right. It was so crazy. I have the reaction video to that somewhere on my channel. In the beginning, I kind of montaged times where I said that before and then showed my reaction to finding out that I was right on the live stream when they revealed that. So, okay. But about what you're saying, you love Gen 6 and Kalos, and you're sad that it didn't get a Z or a Y2X2. And I agree, because it was the most underrepresented games in the franchise. That's part of why it was so forgettable to me. On top of being, in my opinion, like the least good Pokemon games that Game Freak has made, I also just thought that they were so underrepresented and didn't get to be fleshed out in the same ways that other games in the series have. Even Sun and Moon got fleshed out more, even before Ultra. And Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby are very full remakes. Like, I'm playing through it now, like I said, because I never finished it, but now I got this new 3DS. I'm playing through it, and I'm like, this is a really solid Pokemon game. I just kind of got bored with it myself because of personal reasons, and because of how much slower the 3D Pokemon games got at that on the 3DS specifically. But aside from that, they were good games, and I think that Kalos, especially as a region, deserved better than what it got with just X and Y. And now we're seeing that with Legends ZA, and I'm very excited for that. Although I do wish that we could see the rest of Kalos a little bit more. Benefit Boy said, yeah, I was going to get a Switch 2, but I'm happy about the modded Steam Deck, but I hope the Switch 2 gets better. Okay, so you got, yeah, I think you've showed me your Steam Deck before. Wow, that sounded like an innuendo. LOL, way to go, partner, but I do agree it's very pretty. Thank you. Yeah, it's a beautiful 3DS and the DSi. I think they're gorgeous. Al said, if the Catriel Layton game and the Ace Attorney crossover don't count, then yes, it'd be the 7th. Okay, well, there you go. Make it a crossover and make them both the 7th games in both series. Another crossover, I should say, since they did crossover before. Wing said, I'm surprised since you got it. Since in terms, sorry, the way you typed that threw me off. In terms of new games, there is just Mario Kart and Bonanza, but you don't really come off as a fan of Mario Kart. No, I actually thought that I was going to like World, and I even got the bundle, but the open world didn't offer as much as I thought it would. Like, I thought there was going to be things to do in the open world, but it just turned out to be racing challenges. So I was very disappointed in that, and honestly, I uninstalled the game already. Bonanza, though, I love Bonanza. I love Donkey Kong Bonanza. No regrets there. And that's part of what's make me not regret getting the Switch 2 as much, but still, when I tell you I like put myself in a financial crisis to get the Switch 2, I mean it. It was such a bad idea, such a bad decision. It did not go well. I had to do so much work. You have no idea. I took on so many projects to catch back up financially. And I'm about to do the same again because I still got to do that. I still have more catching up to do. Starlina said the significance of games with the number 7. It's such a crazy thing too, because yes, if a series makes it to the 7th game, that's very impressive, but there's not many series that have done that. However, the number 7 I can see being used in just titles, even if it's not the 7th game in the series, just in general. Like, even aside from my semi-joke about Fire Emblem 7 Houses, there's, like, there could be a game called Lucky Number 7, or The 7 Wonders, or what is the 7 version of Octo? Like, there's Octopath Traveler. What's 7? Because Penta, Hexa... Is there a term for 7? What do you even call those? 7... No, not abbreviation. I don't know how to search what that word is. Sev? No, I don't know. I have no idea. Anyways, weird tangent. But yeah, there's a lot of games that could have the word 7 in it, or the number 7, and not be the 7th game in the series. Benefit Boy said, I meant to say Zora, but for some freaky reason my phone is autocorrecting in Pokemon names now. Well, you did say Zora. So that's why I was confused. Are you talking about from Zelda? Um, you said can't wait for Legends Alola. That's another game that I feel like deserves more because Ultra Sun Ultra Moon was kind of just rehashes of Sun and Moon. So yeah, it deserves a little bit more, right? And then don't get me started on Galar because Galar deserves more too, just in general as a region. I thought it was done well because it looked really pretty, but when it comes to the immersion breaking stuff in Sword and Shield, it made me get so turned off by the game, even though there was so much about that game I loved. So I want to see them do more with Galar in the future, or what a remake of Sword and Shield would eventually inevitably look like would be a really cool idea. Mario Kart World Open World is empty, but I was happy playing the Sonic Cross Worlds. Can't wait to get it though. $90 for the deluxe? Oh my gosh. That's not out yet, right? Or is it out already? That's insane. Even Mario Kart World's not that much. That's crazy. But yeah, I was very disappointed with Mario Kart World, but not Bonanza. Or the perks to playing Bayonetta 3 on Switch 2, or Scarlet and Violet on Switch 2, or Tears of the Kingdom on Switch 2. What else was really good on Switch 2? I think that was most of the ones that really intrigued me. Oh, Nier Automata, if it didn't crash so much, is so much better on Switch 2 until it crashes. And it's like, dang, I don't get it. It's running better. Why is it crashing? Zora, finally. It auto-corrected Zora to Zora twice for you, and you didn't catch that. That's funny. Okay, that makes more sense. All right, y'all. What other games do you guys think are coming? Comment them. Something that I haven't mentioned, if possible. Because I feel like there's more that I just haven't thought of. I'll let you guys think about that. I'm going to take a small break from my voice to get some water, and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. So speaking of all the Zelda merch I have, you saw my coffee thermos, but now I'm drinking water out of my Zelda mug. It's supposed to be a potion bottle. It's like foaming over. It's kind of cool. Big fan. I think I got both of these from Nintendo New York with the Tears of the Kingdom release. Yeah, both of these. All right, so let's see what you guys said about games that you think are going to be coming out or announced tomorrow. Bayonetta, love that name. Bayonetta said, hoping for more Tomb Raider remaster. Just joined. So sorry if you mentioned it. No, I did not mention that actually. So as far as I know, they've remastered 1 through 3 and they've remastered 4 through 6. What else is there to remaster beyond those? Or was it just 4 that they remastered beyond that? I could have sworn it was 4 through 6. Maybe I'm crazy. Feel free to comment because I'm not that knowledgeable about Tomb Raider. Mostly my knowledge comes from the reboot, not the originals. I loved the reboot though. I played the definitive edition on PS4, and I played Rise of the Tomb Raider, the second one in the new rebooted trilogy. loved that one even more. And then I never got around to playing Shadows, but it looked great too. So, Senny said maybe another Dynasty Warriors crossover game. Well, we're getting Hyrule Warriors, the Tears of the Kingdom Hyrule Warriors game. So there's already that. I don't know if they're going to do another one. We've already seen them do it with Fire Emblem and Persona. So I don't know if there's been no new games in either of those since in those main series. So I don't think they're going to do another crossover with those. Ooh, a Kirby Dynasty Warriors title. There you go. Yep. Called it right there. Al said Kingdom Hearts, but I don't think they'll announce that in a Nintendo specific stream shortly after Gamescom. That's true. And we also had that Partners Direct recently, which actually was way better than we expected. But I feel like that's where they would have announced it personally. But it's still possible. It wouldn't be Kingdom Hearts 4 because I think Kingdom Hearts 4 is, that's going to release on other stuff first, most likely, and then be ported to Switch 2, if at all. It might not even be. But I think we might see actual native versions of the previous Kingdom Hearts games rather than cloud versions. I think that's very possible. Bayonetta said, yes, hoping for the Legend trilogy. It's games that came out on the 360 generation. So 2000. Okay, so that's not 4 through 6, right? That's something completely separate from the other Tomb Raider games. Benefit Boy said no, unless it's another collection of Kingdom Hearts for the Switch 2. Right, yeah, I think it's going to be some native collections rather than cloud versions. Wing said Scarlet and Violet running at a consistent 60 FPS feels so weird because I'm always used to see it struggling. Yo, okay. Funny you say that because every time I boot it up on my Switch 2 with the update, I keep expecting the game to stutter. Like it's like ingrained into my brain now to the point where I'm kind of holding my breath when I play it. I'm like, when is it going to spike? When is it going to spike? And it never does. And it's like, oh, okay. Amazing what can happen when they actually like go back and patch a game. I can't believe they never patched it before. They could have patched it and they never did. Anyways, they just wanted to help sell the Switch 2. I'm calling it. That's why. That's why they didn't do it. Benefit Boy says, I mean, Kirby does have a lot of eldritch abominations that could work in that format. That's what I'm saying. You could be that one enemy with the broom. Sweep them all up in the Dynasty Warrior style. Sweep them. DDD with the hammer, self-explanatory. Kirby with all the different powers, self-explanatory. Bandana D, obviously. Meta Knight, obviously. And then, again, all the other enemies, especially like the bosses. You could have the snowman boss, or polar bear, whatever he is. The big hammer bro guy. The spiky enemy. Just like roll around. Maybe him rolling is an attack. Just him rolling around is attacking. Janetta said 4 through 6 was 1999 to 2003, but that's the best Tomb Raider games in your opinion. Oh, okay. And those have already gotten remasters, right? And I think they're also putting those on Switch, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe not. I know they definitely did the first trilogy on Switch, but I'm not sure about the rest. Benefit Boy said, LOL, you too, huh? Yeah, it's like ingrained in my brain that that Scarlet and Violet's going to stutter, even though it doesn't now. It's so crazy. I can't wait to see how Legends EA is going to be the first Pokemon game where you don't have to expect that. It's just going to be that 60 FPS, and it's going to be its own new experience in that regard, because Scarlet and Violet's still marred by that in the back of our brains, right? But ZA is not going to have been marred by that. It's going to be interesting. You said, I might actually buy the DLC now since I'm using Gabe's Switch and replaying Scarlet and doing a speed run with 2 protein starters. I think you mean... Oh, there's that autocorrect again. What is a protein starter supposed to be? What was protein supposed to be? Yeah, the DLC is pretty good. And it actually helps wrap up even the main story. It has its own story too, but I think it ties back into the main story by the end of it when you get it's the only way to get the epilogue, I think, for the entire game is by also doing the DLCs. Pretty sure. I said, what is protein supposed to be? And you said protein, but spelled differently. I wonder if ZA runs well on Switch 1, though. It should. Based on what we've seen in the trailers, like the changes that they've made to how they developed it, I think it will. I think it'll run about as well as Legends Arceus. However, it's still very possible not, because Game Freak is just that bad at developing. It could very well be. But I think the Legends team is its own team, so it should still be good. If it's the same people that made Legends Arceus, I think it should be fine. Because clearly it was different teams that made Scarlet and Violet and Legends Arceus. We know that for sure. We've seen their behind-the-scenes formatting. And that the two were being developed literally at the same time by different teams. Let's just all the different ways to spell protein challenge. All right. Nobody else has any other guesses on what games we might see? I'll give you guys like 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Oh, Wing said the abilities that give stab to whatever move you use. So if Greninja uses U-turn, it turns into a bug type, then attacks. Okay, I don't know what you're talking. I know what stab is, but I don't even know what you're referring to anymore. Because of the speed run? What? What are you talking? Anyways. This is me. I'm lost now. I'm the streamer and I'm lost. Okay, so he said, I'm curious if there's going to be a bunch of areas based around the Paris catacombs. Oh, I'm still so hoping for that. Oh, and you're hoping for Kid Icarus. Ooh, either a remake of that one that was on 3DS. I forgot what it was called. Uprising? Yeah. Or a new game. I don't think it's definitely not going to be Masahiro Sakurai that makes it, because he was already doing Kirby Air Riders. But maybe they handed it off to someone else to direct. Because I think there's other people at Sakurai's development studio. I think he's at... What is he at now? Is it still called Sora, or is it now HAL? I forget which one. It used to be one and turned into the other, and I don't remember which one's which. I think it's Sora now. Sora Unlimited. Al said, ever since you mentioned it a while back, I really want Pokemon Ranger back. Interesting. I think if they bring Ranger back, it's going to have a completely different gameplay gimmick than drawing circles, because obvious reasons. But I'd be curious to see what the new gameplay mechanics for that could be. They could get really creative by using things. Oh, they could use mouse mode. Oh, so they could bring it back with drawing circles. I hope they don't. I hope they do something completely new with it. But yeah, they could just do mouse mode on Switch 2 for Pokemon Ranger. I still want Pokepark and Mystery Dungeon. And then something new, possibly. You'd love to see that in 3D, yeah. I'll gonna throw on Shin Megami Tensei for good luck. Oh, I'm still wondering when they're gonna like fully update the Pokemon models with like new idle animations and stuff. They gotta get them more online, especially since they're gonna be releasing Coliseum and Gale of Darkness on the Switch 2 soon here. Well, I expect soon. Oh, that's something we might see in the Direct tomorrow too. Release dates for those. Gosh, I hope. So because they're bringing those, and those had way better animations, and in some cases even better Pokemon models just in general, even than the modern ones that Game Freak uses from Creatures Inc. I still think they should update the Creatures Inc. models that they have now to have at least better idle animations, because the models themselves are great. They have good polygon counts. They gave them depth as of Legends Arceus. Legends Arceus and Scarlet and Violet had the updated Pokemon models where, you know, their eyes were not just PNGs on their face, or they had, you know, textures to their skin. They had scales, things like that. That was all present in Legends Arceus and Scarlet and Violet. You couldn't see it as much in Legends Arceus because of the cell shading, but you could still see it when you were up close to everything. Like, you could see all the textures and depth to all the models. You can see the depth regardless of the art style, but the textures not so much. Yeah, new re-releases of spin-offs. Yeah, I still think that they're very possible, and you also want another Pokepark. Okay, yeah, me too. Pokepark 2 is my favorite Pokemon spin-off. Spoiler alert. And Mystery Dungeon 2 is a close second. Those spin-offs with the name, with two in them, or well, I guess they don't have two in their titles, both of them, but the second games in those spin-off series, what is with them being so good? New Pokemon Snap as well, second in that spin-off series, and it was even better than the first. Like, crazy. All right, guys, my voice is shot. I think we're running out of games we haven't talked about already. I'm probably going to live stream my reaction to the Direct when it comes out tomorrow morning. So if you guys want to put notifications on, if you don't already have like the bell icon selected on my YouTube, feel free to do that now. And we can discuss it together as it live streams tomorrow and see what happens. I'm excited. An hour long. There's got to be at least several things that we all enjoy. Each one of us individually. You, me, your friend. It's going to be here. I'm going to be live streaming here. Usually like news stuff, I live stream on YouTube. I only live stream on Twitch if we're playing a game together, like Marvel Rivals or Pokemon Unite or Smash Bros. But like news stuff, streaming here on YouTube. So keep an eye out. Check the bell if you haven't already. So if you want to be alerted so that you can join the live stream when I start it and chat with me there in the morning. And I'll see you guys there. I hope you guys enjoyed talking with me today and enjoy the rest of your day.